In Big Time, you can collect big time cryptocurrency. It's real fun and easy.
With their wishes, but we've decided to continue development as normal and then
And I want to promise you that all of us here at Jurassic Park
Onward, giants. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Creation is an act of sheer will. This place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see, touch.
But you can't think through this one, John. You have to feel it.
I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. But I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. The only thing that matters now are the people we love. Alan and Lex and Tim. John, they're out there when people are dying.
Spared no expense.
what you just saw was created entirely from scratch using nothing but a controller and a PlayStation. How is that possible? Well, after years of work, I'm finally ready to share the first official devlog for Jurassic Park operations. Many of you are probably a little confused since a few months back I made a video explaining how we got a letter from Universal that said we weren't allowed to use the Jurassic Park branding in our game. Long story short, we are still complying with their wishes, but we've decided to continue development as normal and then remove the intellectual property right before we release it to all of you. For a bit more info, check out this video where I go over our future plans for the game. At the end of that video, I also said this: I just hope that someday in the distant future that Dreams comes to PlayStation Plus or even becomes free to play to give the game the second life it deserves. And well, guess what? Dreams is now on PlayStation Plus, meaning that anyone with a PS Plus subscription can now download Dreams for free this month. So if you were ever waiting for a good time to get Dreams, now is the best time to get it if you already have a PlayStation Plus subscription. I also want to clear up a misconception from that video when I said Dreams is ending its live service. All that means is that they won't be updating the game anymore. The servers will remain up and almost nothing will change outside of a few new limitations on how many creations you can make. For those of you who still don't know what Dreams is, in very simple terms, it's a game engine where you make everything on a PlayStation 4 or 5 and it's our engine of choice for this fan game. Now unfortunately I don't have any of the really old footage showing the development of the game from the beginning, but recently I've been recording a lot of what I've been working on to show off the process of how the game is being made. With that said, I still have all of the old versions of the game, so down the line I'll likely make a few videos showing off what the game used to look like and how it evolved to where it is today. Now without any further ado, let's make the game that every Jurassic Park fan deserves. Starting off, my goal was to go through the entire game and improve the foliage. Now this isn't the first time I've done this, but this was probably the most tedious and time-consuming thing I've ever done in Dreams. There's a lot of ways to make foliage in Dreams, but if you really want to make it look realistic, then you need to dedicate some serious effort to it. Here's the evolution of how foliage has looked in JP Operations. As you can see, it's been slowly improving over time, but I was never fully happy with it. Some iterations looked good but were too cartoony, where others were just way too thermo-heavy to use in a big scene. This is due to one of the main issues I ran into being optimization. In Dreams, there's only so many things you can have in one scene, and there's only so much detail you can have in those things. This is represented in the bottom left where you can see the thermal limits. The top one is gameplay thermo. This one limits how many individual things you can have in your scene. The second one is graphics, and this mainly pertains to how detailed things are. The audio thermal limits are usually never a problem unless you're someone like me who tries to simulate a full orchestra playing the Jurassic Park theme during gameplay. But I'll get more into that later. First things first, I set out to find the best foliage technique I could find that was both optimized and realistic looking. This was one of my first attempts to create some hyper-realistic looking leaves, but unfortunately the detail was a little too expensive to use in the already graphically intensive scenes. I liked how it turned out, but I think it would have worked better as ground bushes rather than jungle tree leaves anyway. As you can see, some of my other attempts just kind of look like green blobs that look okay at a distance but fall apart quickly up close. My next attempt was to basically spam leaves everywhere in hopes it would just look good, and I think it actually turned out very well. This was likely going to be the final design for the leaves too if we didn't discover a better technique later on. Either way, we stuck with these leaves for a bit while I was updating all the scenes with the new and improved foliage. I won't be showing off every scene I updated to avoid spoiling things, but I will show off the River Adventure entrance area since that's something I've already shown off in trailers before. I started off with a version of the scene without any foliage, then I spent a couple minutes just flying around the scene as I contemplated how long this was going to take for the entire game, and if it was really worth it or not. Of course I already have all the new foliage made, and I wasn't just about to let it go to waste, so I threw down a few trees and added some grass to start things off. Something interesting about the trees in JP Operations is that I use a unique LOD system since the amount of leaves can end up becoming very expensive for the thermo. How it works is that the camera has a zone connected to it that sends a signal to any trees in view. Then it spawns the leaves off the map and teleports them to the tree's location. It's a little overcomplicated, but it's necessary for larger scenes with a ton of trees. The next thing I needed was some decent looking and optimized flowers. It took me some time to find them, but after a while I stumbled across these. I could have just made them myself, but one of the best things about Dreams is that players can share their models for everyone to use completely for free, and if someone already has made something that you're looking for, then it's typically faster to find it on the Dreamiverse. I want to give a huge shout out to Anime Boy for making so many amazing models that we've used in our game. They made the flowers and all the palm trees that you see in the game, and they look incredible. After finding the right flowers, I did a bit of tweaking with the colors and started placing them to try to match the concept art I was basing the scene off of as close as I could. Then I brought in some old vines that honestly don't look the best, and I could probably do much better now, but they get the job done. The clone tool in Dreams can be your best friend, but also your worst enemy. In one way, it makes creating a scene like this much easier than manually stamping in every object. On the other hand, it's very easy to get carried away with cloning things and filling up the memory because every single thing you clone counts towards that limit. After adding a ton of foliage to the scene, I decided to test out different lighting to see how things looked, and I noticed I never added stars to the night sky. So I spent some time working on that, and here are the results. Next up, I wanted to make a better and more realistic queue for the ride that looked a little closer to the concept art. I was happy with the results, but there were still some improvements that could be made. One of those improvements being the torches. The ones I had been using were very sloppily put together and didn't really hold up with the rest of the scene, so I decided to start working on the larger torches first. I don't know why I do this, but I like to add little details like the burn marks and holes in the burner that you'd likely never see when you're playing the game. For me, it makes the world feel just a little more real, even if it's something that'll never likely be seen. I tried to then move the larger torches and resize them to the smaller ones, but it just didn't look right. So I made a new design for the smaller ones. Now things were really starting to come together, but unfortunately around this time I was running out of space in the scene, so I had to go through and try my best to optimize things. This took some time, but once I had some more space to work with, I added a little chain to the queue so you can bypass walking through the whole thing if you wanted. Much like everything else, I spent way too much time on this, but in the end it turned out perfect. Next I wanted to improve the lighting. One of the only downsides of using these kinds of leaves is that Dreams doesn't calculate the shadows very accurately at distance. This is all to make the game run smoother, but it can lead to some less than desirable visuals. To fix this, I used a technique where I would place fake shadows in the trees. This is done by smearing a sculpt around like this and then making it invisible while leaving cast shadows as always on. Here you can see a side-by-side comparison of how much better it looks with these fake shadows. The only real negative side effect to this technique are these rough lines in the shadows on the ground where the leaves and invisible sculpture meet, but I think it's a worthy trade-off for the improved shadows. And with that, the scene is pretty much done. Next up, every other scene in the game. As tedious and annoying as this is to do, it gives me a chance to go back and fix and adjust anything in these scenes to make them even better than before. And in the end, the results will speak for themselves. Remember when I said the scene was pretty much done a few seconds ago? Well, I was wrong. At around this time, we discovered a new technique for the leaves that looked incredible, especially from a distance. It basically involved making a lot of branches and then making a lot of smaller green branches on top of that. Here are the results in game. Yeah, it's still not perfect, but it looks miles better than before. It's just missing one thing: actual leaves. So I went back and individually added thousands of leaves to each branch, and perfection. After this, I don't want to ever make leaves in Dreams again. With that said, I'm glad I made it because these might be some of the best leaves in Dreams in terms of optimization and realism. Sure, you could probably find some more realistic looking leaves out there, but I don't think they would work too well on larger scale scenes that need hundreds of leaves like this. So after going through every scene in the river adventure, I only ran into one major problem that I mentioned at the beginning of the video: audio. So if you don't know, I recreated most of the Jurassic Park themes completely from scratch in Dreams. Originally I did this because I didn't know a good way of importing the actual themes, but looking back I'm so glad I recreated them because it helped me learn a lot about orchestration, and I was even able to make my own versions of the themes. However, one major problem of simulating an entire orchestra during gameplay is that the game can't really handle it and the sounds start becoming distorted and delayed. For the longest time, I didn't really have a solution to this until I decided to just say screw it and export my covers of the themes and then re-import them. That way, it would bring the amount of sounds playing at once from around 30 to only 1. Now I know a lot of people would ask, why not just import the original soundtrack at that point? But I think the unique sound of my version almost helps the experience feel more refreshing rather than reusing the same track that everyone has already heard hundreds of times. Anyway, with all the foliage and river adventure finally out of the way, I was ready to move on to my next big goal: improving the T-Rex AI. There weren't too many problems with the T-Rex AI before, but I had some ideas on how I could make it 10 times better. One feature I wanted to add was the ability for the T-Rex to walk through dense foliage. This would make it feel much more unpredictable and make you feel less safe, as much like in the film, the T-Rex would be able to appear seemingly out of nowhere. On top of that, I wanted to add an ambush mechanic so when the T-Rex is in the foliage, it could hide and wait for the player to pass by. But before I could add any of that, I had to fix a few things like the T-Rex constantly walking over the player's Jeep and insta-killing you. Luckily, this was a pretty easy fix. All I had to do was add an invisible box above the Jeep that only the T-Rex could detect and avoid. This way it's much less likely for the T-Rex to just walk over the Jeep by accident. The other major problem was the T-Rex insta-killing the player while in the Jeep. In older versions of the T-Rex panic mode, the Jeep actually had its own health, so I decided to finally carry that feature over to the new version. To help the player differentiate between the different healths, I made the health UI change color when you enter the vehicle. Actually making the health mechanics was made fairly simple with Dream's built-in health and health modifier gadgets. These allow for easy implementation of an effective health system, although I did have to make some unique adjustments like health regeneration after a certain period of time, and linking the two healths so that if the Jeep runs out of health, the player loses health and dies as well. I also wanted to add some actual physical damage to the Jeep, like the soft top getting ripped off if you go below half health. This also adds a lot to the horror factor, as a physical layer of protection between you and the T-Rex is ripped away. I also decided to lock the Jeep's health below 50% when you lose the soft top to prepare for a new Jeep customization feature that was also present in the older versions. This will allow you to try out different playstyles with the Jeep by trading stealth and extra health with the soft top for speed and maneuverability without it. This will be something I add later on though, because it'll probably take a lot of balancing to get right. While I was working on the vehicle health system, I also added the ability for the T-Rex to pass through foliage. This was very simple to add. All I had to do was turn off collision between the T-Rex and the foliage, and it was pretty much done. To help things feel a bit more fair, I made it so that the T-Rex can't see the player through the foliage until it's passed through it. However, there are two exceptions to this rule, but I don't want to spoil every aspect of how the T-Rex works, so you'll just have to find out for yourself when it releases. The next thing I worked on was improving the animations and sound for the T-Rex to make it feel just a bit more real and terrifying. While I was testing, I also noticed how easy it had become to survive an attack. I would notice the T-Rex getting caught on corners a lot and losing the player very easily. Previously, this was balanced by the player always being killed in one shot by the T-Rex, whether in the Jeep or not, but now with more health it felt too easy to escape a chase. Unfortunately, Dreams doesn't have any built-in pathfinding, so in the past I used a very unreliable system to help the T-Rex follow the player in a chase. In turn, it made the T-Rex feel very stupid and easy to avoid. This had to be fixed, so I set out to make a new system to help the T-Rex pathfind to the player. I've made a lot of attempts in the past to make a good pathfinding system, but they always eventually end up becoming way too complicated and fall apart. As they become more complicated, they also become more and more expensive in terms of thermo. This is why I wanted to make my new system as simple as possible, and one of the ways I've seen a lot of people working around the lack of pathfinding in Dreams is with a trail system. This is achieved by emitting trail nodes from the player's position during a chase, and whenever the T-Rex loses sight of the player, it would switch targets and follow the trail instead. This of course wasn't without a few bugs, like the T-Rex somehow climbing over a wall to get to me instead of using the trail. But I eventually figured it out, and now the T-Rex is much harder to lose and it feels much more threatening. Though of course, now it felt too hard to lose the T-Rex, so I added the ability to lose it by breaking line of sight and remaining still. Now there are only a few more things to fix, like how it was too easy to dodge the T-Rex on foot. While it was cool to slide under the T-Rex while it was biting down, it was also way too easy to do, and again it made the T-Rex feel almost like a non-threat. So I made a few adjustments, and now it's much harder if not impossible to pull this off. You can still occasionally break past the first defense being its bite, but after that the T-Rex tries to trample over you. On occasion the T-Rex can even kick you away from its feet like this. Now it was finally time to add the ambush mechanic. I had to come up with a good way to set the ambush zone so the T-Rex knows when it's in a good position to ambush. To achieve this, I just used wireless transmitters and receivers that would send a signal to the T-Rex when it's in an ambush zone. Then, it would check if it's already in a chase, and if it's not, it would start repeating a timer for 3 seconds. After every 3 seconds, it would have a chance to start an ambush. Oh, and here's what the rest of the logic that controls the T-Rex AI looks like. It gets just a little complicated. And around this time was when I was working on my latest animation. If you haven't seen it yet, then you should definitely check it out because it's probably my best animation yet. Anyway, in that animation, I went a little crazy with the details like adding moving nostrils and pupil dilation and constriction. I also adjusted the head shape very slightly, so I carried all those changes over to the JP Operations T-Rex. Now back to the ambush mechanic. The only way to tell the T-Rex is about to ambush is by listening to the jungle ambience. If you suddenly hear the jungle become silent, you know to stop moving immediately because the T-Rex could be around any corner waiting to jump out and attack. Here's a little preview of what it sounds like when the T-Rex is about to ambush. All that's left to do now is put in the ambush zones and do some testing. Here are a few gameplay snippets of testing out the updated AI. Okay, now with all the foliage being updated and the T-Rex being overhauled, it's time to finally update the closed beta for playtesters and get their... Hold on a second. Where is it? Yeah, I don't know what happened around this time, but the closed beta for our game just completely vanished. Luckily none of the actual scenes or elements got deleted, but the main file that lets you actually play the game just disappeared. I don't think I could have deleted it accidentally either, because I would have had to go up to the top right, select delete, and then gone down to the bottom and select yes. And I have absolutely no recollection of doing that. Maybe somehow a moderator saw it and took it down, or there was some sort of glitch since Dreams recently did a server migration. I highly doubt it, but if it was taken down by Media Molecule, the developers of Dreams, then that kinda sucks, but I forgive them because within the next few days they reacted to my latest animation and said nothing but nice things about it.
Oh my
This
god.
next one is really cool from Connortian, you know, the Master of Dinosaurs.
Of course.
Jeff
Get
Keighley,
ready.
super fan
Super
of
fan.
all Kronoskin things.
The dinosaurs do work, like they just look so good. So what I love about this, so you can use L2, R2 obviously to zoom in and out. What's really cool is that obviously I'm not moving, it's an animation that plays by itself, but you can control the camera movement, and the way they've done the gyro tuning is like the best found footage style motion I've ever seen in Dreams.
I'm scared.
That was not as quiet. I'm quite nervous.
Let me zoom in. What is there?
Oh,
Hello?
that's so creepy.
Oh, messy desk.
Also, I really don't think Media Molecule would have deleted it without telling me, so my guess is it was just a server error, or somehow I accidentally deleted it. Either way, I spent a few minutes putting it back together, and now it's back up for playtesters. And with that, the devlog is about over. Thank you so much to all my patrons, and thank you for 19,000 subscribers. Next time, I'm going to be working on the main menu, implementing the free roam mode, and hopefully finalizing the game for release. Obviously, I'll need to remove the JP branding first, but that process should hopefully only take about a week or so. Speaking of removing the branding, what do you think we should change the name to? I was thinking something along the lines of calling it Jurassic Ventures, but there still hasn't been a final decision. Let me know of any ideas you have for the rebranding in the comments. And I know I said the game was coming out this summer, but as usual, things are taking a little longer than expected. All I can do is make a promise that the wait will be worth it and that I'll be working on it as much as I can to get it out as fast as possible. Hopefully these videos will give you a better sense of how close the game is to releasing. Anyway, this has been Chronotican. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Multiple motion sensors have gone offline in the Rex product. Take one of the guest teams and replace the down sensors. But remember, we still don't truly know how fast she is. So, keep your distance. It's possible she could outrun you. multiple motion. Construction is nearly complete on the River Adventure ride, and the last raptor introduced into the Pride has killed all but 2 of the others, and it's getting worse. There is evidence the raptors have been able to get outside of their enclosure, enter Raptor Valley, and hunt down the 3 remaining.
Thank you for choosing Kunito Pet. To start your download, press the button labeled Download Now. Oh, hello there. Thank you for waking me up. I'm Kunito Pet. However, you can just call me Kunito. And together we are going to become the best of friends. So since you now know my name, what is your name? to tell me information, simply type your input in the box and press OK. That's strange. I have never heard of that name before. Are you sure that this is your real name? Oh, in that case, nice to meet you. I just cannot wait to get to know you. So, how about I start with some questions? So, what is your favorite color? Blue, the color of the ocean. What a wonderful pick. Okay, now this one is tricky, so get ready. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Wow, that sure does sound super. If I could have any superpower, I would want to be able to read minds. That way, I could know more about you, and become the perfect friend. Now for this one, you have lots of choice, so choose carefully. What is your favorite word? Well, that sure is a certainly interesting word. Moving on from that, I think I should tell you a little about myself. I'm Canito, and I will be your very own super-duper computer companion. And I'll be your everlasting friend. I can do many things such as play games, manage your system, adapt to you, and even read stories. Speaking of stories, I have just finished writing one that I had started earlier. Would you like me to read it? I knew you would say that. Okay, where do I start? New Beginnings, a book by Canito. Canito was home when a package came to the door. But who was it from, and who was it for? It was for Canito, as he soon realized. So he eagerly ripped it open to see what was inside. "It's a computer!" exclaimed Canito with a grin bright and wide. But the cables were tangled, so he started to untie. And once Canito was done, he powered it on, and watched it come to life with digital color and sound. Canito then studied all he could learn to make the online world a turn. However now, Canito had all these new tips, and yet no friend to share his new tricks. So he went on a quest, and found a friend just like you, to show you his skills and all he could do. So why wait? The adventures lie ahead, so together we can play games, search the web, and leave no story unread. The end. Thank you for taking the time to hear my story. The story was actually about me and you. Isn't that amazing? I can tell that we are going to have a very, very long friendship. When me and you are together, there are no limits to what we can do. So, best friend, how about we move on to something more exciting? I have made something very special for you, but I just need to load it up. This'll be really fun. Here I present to you the Tornado Cruise Web World. Click the start button to continue. Whenever you are done reading the character descriptions, just press start to begin. Well, without further ado, welcome to the web world. An amazing place where you can play games, learn, and most importantly meet all of my pals. However, in recent times the web world has fallen into a bit of a bad state. Yet with your help, I'm sure we can restore our wonderful world. But before we get ahead of ourselves, you need to be able to navigate around. There, much better. I even made it your favorite color. Now to start, my pal Sam has had a rough time trying to fix up his house. You are going to try help him. To visit Sam, click on the abandoned house. Alright, let's get this game on the way. Ready repair. Sam the Sea Anemone needs your help to repair his house. Clean, dust, paint and decorate Sam's house until it's as good as new. Wowzers, that sounds like fun. Just press the start button and we can get right to things. Well, hello there. This is my pal Sam. Say hi, Sam.
Hi there.
What seems to be the issue today?
Well, you see, my house has not been kept in the best shape.
Well, that's a shame.
To start, could you help me by dusting the place down and giving it a good scrub?
Well, you heard him. While you get on with that, I will be here writing my next book.
Amazing! Wow! Amazing! It looks as good as new. Whenever you're ready, you can just press next. For the next task, I would like you to paint my walls. Can you do that for me? You have done a great job. Next, could you decorate the place a little?
Thank you for helping out Sam. If you like, you can print out your work. Or just press next to continue. Wasn't that so much fun? Thanks for helping out Sam. Just look how clean that house is now. Next, I think I should introduce you to my other friend, Jade the Jellyfish. To meet Jade, go to the purple house. Are you excited yet? Factory Frenzy! Jade the Jellyfish needs your help to fix her toys. Grab parts of the conveyor belt to put the pieces back together. This is going to be super fun. Let's get this game started. This is my friend Jade. Go on, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jade the Jellyfish. It's nice to meet you.
So, what do you have for us today?
I need your help to build some toys in my toy factory. To do this, you need to grab parts of the conveyor belt and match it to the outline. To start, could you help me by making a car?
That sounds like fun. As you do that, I am going to be getting some much needed rest.
Wow! That's amazing! Next, could you make me a bicycle? Super! For this next one, could you build a teddy bear? All right! You've done a great job! This one is a little more tricky, so can you build me a robot? Congratulations! You have completed all of my tasks! Thanks for helping me out!
Thank you for helping out, Jade. You did a really good job. To continue, just press next. Awesome. You have really helped my friends out here. I'll tell you what. As a treat for helping me and my friends out, I'll give you a fun game. Meet me in the treehouse to get started with my fun game. Benito wants to play a fun game with you. You must hide.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and exclusive access to all things VIP.
Spinosaurid likes to feed on fish, its teeth are perfect for ensnaring its slippery prey.
Transporting asset. Transportation complete. Asset transportation complete. Asset delivered.
Okay, we're making progress. But there's always more to be done. For you, anyway. Take this next objective, for example.
Reporting asset status.
This is what we'd hoped to accomplish on Isla Nublar. A place where the dinosaurs could finally thrive. Minus the volcano. Obviously.
That's a pretty big minus.
I think we can all be proud of what we've accomplished here.
But?
But what?
I can hear it in your voice.
Okay. I'm just wondering what Dua is really up to. I don't buy all her saving the future by controlling the past talk.
Yeah, Lambert mentioned that some of the animals were being moved to an undisclosed location. He wouldn't say, or maybe he didn't know who was taking delivery, but it wasn't the DFW.
A third party?
And you and I are not invited.
First reports were from Seattle-Tacoma Airport's air traffic control, but now we're getting radar hits from Portland International. So they're traveling south.
Probably because of the weather.
Agreed. They're migrating. But what happens if one of these animals decides to play chicken with a commercial airliner?
This is the modern world and the prehistoric one on a collision course. If Owen and Lambert do what they say they can, we're going to need facilities in place for the flyers when they arrive. Let's start with some aviary domes and a hatchery. Oh, we also need an expedition center, and as you heard, time is not on our side.
ready on this end. We could send out expeditions for remote capture.
These creatures can cover a lot of ground from the air, so we should snap to it.
All right, let's fly the not-so-friendly skies.
We have captured flyers ready to deliver.
Have them brought to the aviary hatchery by our transport team. We'll then release them into the domes.
And by release, you mean contain?
Yes, in a controlled environment and under our supervision and care.
Excellent.
We should be on schedule to deliver assets to the other site.
Assets in the air. Asset transportation underway. Commencing asset transit. Confirming asset delivery. Asset has been delivered. Delivery complete. Asset transported. Delivery has been completed.
Looks like we might be getting things under control.
I would say famous last words, but given the number of times that I could have used this very phrase over the years, I'm going to go with, quote, predictable, unquote, last words instead.
Dr. Malcolm, why are you contacting us?
Same thing as always, the dinosaurs, and my obsessive need to witness the car crash when it happens.
It's good to hear from you again, Dr. Malcolm.
Ah, Dr. Dua. you're now increasing the so-called intelligence part of the CIA, if I'm to understand correctly.
We do what we can.
Yes, we do what we can, and sometimes more than we should. Interesting times, and I mean times as the dinosaurs are living in ours. Should they be here? No. Are they? Yes. Ergo, they should. And the hidden hand of chaos is revealed.
It's what else remains hidden that's concerning me at the moment, Doctor.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. And that's why I've brought somebody with me to help shed some light in this regard, Mr. Isaac Clement. Yeah, a specialist of the spectacular. You should be hearing from him soon.
These dinosaurs require feeders if they're to stay healthy. Stay on top of it.
Hey, I'm Isaac Clement. Dr. Malcolm should have mentioned me earlier. We have some specific requirements, including a ranger team to gather information and monitor the animals within the aviary. A viewing gallery is also on our list. So, now it's on yours.
Hey, Claire. I've been thinking.
When you think, it makes me nervous.
No, seriously. Why the flyers?
Okay, I'm not following you.
Dr. Malcolm starts contacting Dr. Dua from who knows where when these flying reptiles become an issue. Why?
Because they introduce a unique danger? And he's concerned?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Owen. For now, we should make sure the satisfaction levels for the flyers is high. That's verifiable data we can use. Forget the conspiracy angle.
Hello? We're chasing prehistoric animals, Claire. Reality ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, you were right, Dr. Malcolm.
It's sort of my thing.
The facility is functioning as anticipated.
We have enough assets in the pipeline that we should be able to move forward soon.
Right now we're putting out brush fires, but this is an inferno that could engulf the world.
Your concern is noted.
For now, I suggest we focus on this location. It's about high welfare and visibility for the animals, and safety for the DFW staff, of course.
Learning to coexist with the dinosaurs is a process. We're getting there.
And if we don't, where's that leave us? We will have created an apocalypse born of our arrogance, humanity versus the dinosaurs, and honestly, I'm not sure who deserves to win.
If we want to find success, we must look to the sky. That means more flyers, and more species of flyers in the aviaries. Flap, not flop, huh?
Asset transportation in progress. Asset has been collected. Asset has been transported. Asset has been transported. Delivery complete. Asset in transit. Transit has commenced. Asset being transported. delivery has been completed. Asset delivered. Asset transportation complete. Asset delivery confirmed.
Even contrived, planned, and managed beauty has its charms, but what appeals to the senses is the asymmetry of nature. Its rough edges, its mistakes, a tree that is both out of place and exactly where it needs to be. Much like the dinosaurs.
Excuse me, Dr. Malcolm. There are reports of a large herd of subject animals roaming freely in Yosemite.
To my point, chaos. Don't you just love it?
Yosemite. Over 1,000 square miles in size. It is home to one of the oldest plant species on Earth, the giant sequoias, which have been growing in this part of California for over 60 million years.
That could be our connection. What's drawing the dinosaurs here?
The sequoias are familiar, part of their genetic memory.
Then this land could be a perfect fit for the dinosaurs.
Okay, the horse is already out of the barn. That's a saying, by the way. There's no horse and no barn.
What Owen means is that things are already in motion. We have dinosaurs that we'll need to capture, and facilities that need to be built.
But not actual barns. Barns, no. Expedition Center, a paleomedical facility, and a response facility, yes.
Those should give us a solid foundation. At photography.
In what aspect? I think my right side is a little better than my left.
Oh, and I'm talking about the dinosaurs. We're gonna want images of the species in Yosemite. Oh, and you're wrong about the right.
Okay, I get it now. We can take one of the vehicles and go on a photo expedition. And yeah, I know, my left is better.
You're still here?
I'm leaving, but I haven't left. You get it? I'm doing a play out.
Go.
Gone. I'm gone.
amazing to see these animals in something so close to their natural habitat.
These photographs are like we're not just capturing the dinosaurs, but a moment in time. Which, considering how they got here, feels doubly weird.
I think this is as close as we'll ever get to seeing the dinosaurs the way they were 65 million years ago. And it's breathtaking. Our remote capture teams bringing back the most dangerous dinosaurs. The safety of the public and the dinosaurs are both at stake.
I'm your man. And I'm your man.
I know. Once we have them, we'll get them secured within our new facility. And I know. So be careful.
Drop me an email or send me a fax if that's your thing. You could even slip a letter in the mail or a postcard. There's not. Send me a postcard. Sure would make my day.
Excavation under way. Asset has been delivered.
Yosemite. Over 1,000 square miles in size.